And a good evening. Welcome inside the bottom line. You know how when you get ready to go into a game and you get that pregame speech and everybody gets fired up, get ready to go out of the tunnel, ready to fight, ready to knock somebody down. Well, that's what I was doing with Juju before we went on there. I want to get him fired up, get him ready to go. That's right. We're talking Panthers before we went on the air. A lot of moving pieces today in the NFL. I've seen all the conspiracy theories. I mean, it's run rampant. The NFL wanted these two teams in the Super Bowl. They wanted the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They wanted Andy Reid to be playing his former team in the Super Bowl. The team that fired him, that he's already won, and now could he win another one? They wanted
first time two black quarterbacks have played against each other starting.
And I guess the other big topic was
Kelsey brothers.
Yeah, you've got that. It just so many storylines. I'm just so impressed with all of that. It's rigged. It's rigged.
I think the officials may have manipulated the rules a little bit yesterday.
And
that's not being rigged or anything. I think just they changed them around a little bit, manipulated it. I found a stat today, which is very interesting, about officials in the NFL.
Stat man right here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm becoming, the older I get, I'm becoming a little bit more of a stat geek.
Are you getting older?
The older that I get. I'm becoming a little bit of a stat geek or a nerd, so to speak, to back up the facts, to back up the opinions. So one of the reasons why the NFL got criticized a whole lot this year, the officiating, is because they've gotten younger. The NFL, over the last year or two.
NFL officials
have gotten younger. There's some people that in the NFL offices, they've hired some people to go out and recruit and bring new officials into the fold, and they have. Would you believe that right now, 37% of all NFL officials have less than 5 years experience? 52% have less than 10 years experience. The league got rid of a lot of older gentlemen and experienced guys. They wanted to get younger, and they wanted to get diverse. And that's what's happened. And because they're less experienced than some of the older guys, you're seeing these mistakes.
Are we really seeing mistakes?
Well, no, you're right. You might be saying not mistakes. I just think when the game's on the line, the old line about putting the whistle and you're swallowing your whistle, or let things go unless it's completely obvious. They reversed a couple of calls yesterday. So they let a couple of calls go that were blatant, especially in that late game. But, yeah, I mean, it was manipulated. That's the word I'm going to use a little bit.
It's your story and you're sticking to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one of the reasons is because the NFL is going through a phase right now with its officials that they've gotten younger and they are green. They're green behind the ears or green as a gourd, whatever term you want to use.
Milton says the officials are becoming a part of the game, and that is what is wrong.
Well, I mean, I don't know, part of the game. It's because the talent of the game, especially the games are closer now than they ever been before. More people are tuned in and engaged because of the gambling aspect. And every little play, there are prop bets on all these different plays. I think that's another reason why we're much more in tune to when an official misses a call. There's 20,000 different replays and angles, and the ones that you think that should be replayed, all of a sudden they can't find a good angle, or the play's not reviewable. So, I mean, there's a lot of it out there now that we've not been used to seeing before, and some of these younger officials are having a hard time dealing with it, maybe.
What? Good evening, honey.
Oh, what? Well, good evening. Oh, you're not talking to me.
No. Yes, I did get a year older. That is correct.
Yeah, happy birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Juju, here we go. This is where we're at. My wife says, Juju, what is your opinion of the Panthers not at least giving Wilkes a shot? Juju, would you like to explain on that?
Yeah, they did give him a shot.
Okay, I thought maybe they did too.
I think they did.
So,
6 and 6.
I like Steve Wilkes.
Yeah.
I like Steve Wilkes.
But
Frank Reich is a better hire. Offensively minded, has developed some really good quarterbacks, experienced as a head coach. Not that Steve's not, but if you go back and look.
Steve is more experienced at losing as a head coach than Frank is.
Frank was successful in Indianapolis when he at least had something to work with.
Yeah.
But Irsay's not the best owner to work for.
No, he's not. 6-6 for Steve Wilkes. The last 2 games changed it for me. The game against Tampa Bay, which they were leading at halftime, second half, they changed their defense up a little bit and put guys on an island. And Tom Brady, who didn't throw the ball deep a whole lot this year, found his favorite receiver, Mike Evans, open down the sidelines. He caught 3 touchdown passes, all against single coverage on fly patterns. I thought they got out-schemed in that game. And if anybody watched that last game against Atlanta, 10-7 game, that was ugly. It was awful to watch of a professional football game.
Let me ask you this.
Those guys weren't ready to play nor cared to play.
Let me ask you this. Who will possibly build a better coaching staff and roster?
Oh, good question. Yeah.
Frank Reich or Steve Wilkes? To me, it's Frank Reich because of his background, because of his connections.
Correct.
Because you've got people that will really want to come to work for Frank Reich
I think
at the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you have players. Milton said Wilkes didn't have talent to work with. I agree 100%. And my wife said, but he won more than Matt Rule ever won. And I agree with that. Matt Rule was a disaster from the beginning. Chad brings up a good point. It still comes down to getting players, and Panthers have not traded or drafted well in years.
Mm-hmm. They got the players to believe for 12 games, and the locker room was united, and they had a cause. I understand all of that.
I get all that.
There was a cause to go from being pretty much a nothing to a 6-6 middle-of-the-road average football team. Will have the number 9 draft pick this year.
Yes.
And that's remarkable to do that. Hats off to him for that. But for him to say that, for people to say maybe that he deserved the head coaching job, I don't think anybody deserves
That's
anything.
correct. I agree.
But I like your point about having Frank Reich on board, maybe his connections in throughout the league.
Just my thinking.
He will put together a better staff. I was listening. I went to a women's basketball game last Wednesday night. So on my way home, turned on the radio, and I was listening to NFL radio on XM Radio, XM Sirius XM. And they had Bill Polian on.
Channel 88.
Channel 88, absolutely. Had Bill Polian on. He does a little radio show with, I can't remember who the host was, but they were saying, and Bill just jumped right in. He said, I got a little bit of news to spread tonight. He said, one of my good old buddies, my good friends, or one of our old players is about to become the new head coach of the Carolina Panthers. And he didn't mention his name, and I knew who it was exactly. I knew he was going to say Frank Reich.
Frank Reich threw the first touchdown pass of any quarterback for the Carolina Panthers.
He did. You know who he threw it to?
No. Wesley Walls?
No. Nope. He later played. Well, I'm looking at the first game. He threw the first touchdown pass of the first game. First game is the Hall of Fame game.
Oh, okay.
Against Jacksonville. It was an exhibition game, but and I happened to be there. He threw the first touchdown pass to a fullback named Bob Christian, who later played with the Falcons.
Okay.
In fact. But I believe he threw his first touchdown pass maybe to Wesley Walls against the Falcons in the regular season, the first
Sounds
game.
right.
Yeah.
Lindsay said big weekend for the Canes. Come back to tie from down 4-2 and win in overtime Friday and a solid 4-1 win over Boston yesterday. Take warning. She has become her and Wesley, my 2 oldest kids, have become really big. Wesley's always been a huge hockey fan, big Pens fan.
Yeah.
Big
Pens. The Pens are awful right now. They're done. And did they go to the game?
A lot. Yes.
Did they
she
go
lives
the
in
weekend?
Raleigh.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you go to those games, sis?
Because Mike,
I think you shouldn't go Friday because we all had dinner.
You know, like before the game, what do they call that? Where they have like a special guest person come in, and I don't say ring the bell, but they start the sirens. Mm-hmm. Whatever Well, Mike Houston was supposed to do it. East Carolina coach. I saw something online about that. They've had other famous coaches come in. Bill Cowher's done it, and other people. What do they call it? Something, the Sirens.
The siren sounder.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, they go. And, I'm not sure there's enough fighting in real hockey for me to go. I like the minor league hockeys.
Well, they've cut back on that too, the fighting.
Well, that's not fun.
Well,
I go for the fights and hope a hockey game breaks out.
I guess pull up the movie Slapshot and just keep watching it over and over.
I wish I could remember.
Boy, we jump around.
Before the checkers were the upper level, when they were just East Coast, as low
league.
as you could get.
Yes.
We used to go. The church used to go, and a bunch of us would go. And I can remember going, and there was a goalie, and wherever we were sitting, these people knew who this goalie was, and they called him out by name, and they would sit there all night.
There are no loyal
Bob
fans.
Jones, you suck. I mean, that's just what they did.
There are no more vocal and loyal sports fans than hockey fans.
Pete
Metzelars.
That's it,
called not Wesley Walls.
Thank you, Bob.
Pete Metzelars,
okay,
number 88, who's later on, a few years later, was the offensive line coach or tight ends coach for Wingate for Frank Reich's brother, Joe Reich. And Metzelars had a son, I think, that went to Wingate too. So, yeah, there are a lot of connections between the Reich family and Charlotte. In fact, I think his daughter's working for the Panthers now.
Yeah, and somebody made a big deal about that. That was an inside job. I don't know. They just said there's one each period of each game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's one each period of the game. She said, we didn't go Sunday, but we'll be there for the Stadium Series game that's going to be outdoor hockey at Carter Finley.
Okay.
I didn't know they did. I thought they only did that like up north and stuff.
Yeah, usually, what do they call that? The winter game or the winter exhibition or winter something?
No, I can't remember now. Gosh.
Well, we're jumping around. We went from the
okay.
Panthers to
it's
the
hockey.
NFL officials, now to hockey.
Now, let me give you some NFL updates. Sources. 49ers quarterback Purdy has torn UCL in his elbow.
Yes.
Chargers have hired Kellen Moore as their new offensive coordinator since he got the can in Dallas, which I don't understand that except they had to have a sacrificial lamb.
Was he not a finalist for the Panthers job?
He was a finalist for a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
And then somebody said that the offense has been ranked in the top 5 the last 2 years.
I don't know.
I think I'd step back for the Cowboys. Just be honest with you. Just be honest with you. The Eagles emerge as
That's a good job that he took.
Yeah, Super Bowl favorite over the Chiefs. He'll do a lot with Herbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Aaron Rodgers and the Pack are at a crossroads for trade possibilities.
Well, the NFL salary cap went up today.
$224.8 million.
That's up $16 million from a year ago.
That'll cover what the Packers are over if they need to keep him.
Yeah. So we'll see. They owe him what, $50 or $60 million?
Well, who's going to take it?
Who's going to trade? Yeah, who's going to trade for that?
The Eagles game after Purdy got hurt was ugly. But I'll be honest with you, of the 4 teams that I saw play yesterday, the Eagles are for real.
They won that game at the line of scrimmage.
They did. They are for real.
They push people around and they block people and they tackle and they rush the quarterback. I mean, they won that game both sides of the ball.
Now, the guy's a head coach. Is this his second year?
Sirianni? I think so. Yeah. I mean, they're in, the third – they've been to 3 Super Bowls with 3 different head coaches.
Dick Vermeil?
No. Well, that'd be 4.
Oh, okay.
Doug Peterson. Before that would have been Andy Reid.
Did they make a Super Bowl?
With Andy Reid? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Terrell Owens was on the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't. For some reason, I was thinking like they did make Super Bowl.
10 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
And now with Sirianni.
Yeah.
So they were what? Did they 4-11 or 4-13, whatever they were, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? After they won the Super Bowl, they took a dive.
Wait a minute. Let me assure David Lilly of something. No, David Lilly, we're not going to slip in any soccer talk.
No.
Okay. I talk more about hockey than I even knew, but I just kind of threw that in there. But Milton said Ndamukong Suh was still the most brutal player in the league.
Yeah.
Yesterday, that game about got out of hand.
It did.
It got ugly there for a little bit.
Right there at the end, there's a lot of trash talking back and forth all game, and then again,
right.
Those officials let it go.
Let me take
till the end.
Let me take a timeout, and we come back. Still some NFL talk, plenty coming up.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
I jumped the gun just a little bit. Didn't mean to, but I did. I jumped it just a little bit. Glad to have you back here on a Monday night. 58 degrees. That is nice.
That is.
The only bad part about it, we're not going to get any snow for the month of January, and don't see any in the forecast. I am not happy about that.
Just drive up the mountain.
No.
It's 40 minutes.
It's not asking too much to get some here.
It's always prettier if you
I
drive
know.
up the mountain while
I
it's
know.
coming down.
Still. Yes, Pineapple Cup 2023 is fast approaching. It is on my list. I will be officially and completely retired from my full-time job when we go to the Pineapple Cup.
Okay.
That's the way I'm going to.
That's in March, right?
That's
Or
the way-
it's in April.
The end last week of March. That will be, and of course, we'll do a show live from the beach on Wednesday. That's usually the day we take off. So we did that last year. Let's see. What you were talking about is the Winter Classic.
Okay.
They played a few weeks back at Fenway. Now the Stadium Series is the hottest
Gotcha.
ticket.
So we're growing the show while we were off the air, or you were playing commercials and we were at a break. So you're getting more people listening and watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have some special guests next week. We'd hope to have them tonight, and I'm sure that they're watching now. But we're going to have some special guests. We'll announce that towards the end of the show today. But we'll have those special guests next week since it's signing day on Wednesday for college football. Next week that'll be kind of our theme.
February.
Yeah.
2 days.
It's early signing day, February 2nd, right?
Is it the first Thursday in February? Is that
the first Wednesday? First Wednesday. So it's February 1st.
I was going to say it had to be February 1st.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty. Normally it's like February 4th or 5th, but I guess it's just the way the calendar fell.
My wife says, "Tell him, Juju, I've been asking to go to the mountains for weeks. I suck as a husband. I just go ahead and put it out there. I'm the worst.
You're not
I
the
don't
worst.
do anything. Oh,
I've heard things about people that
I'm the
that's
worst.
the worst.
I'm the worst. I promise. I'm the worst.
Well, you have so much time on your hands now. In when? In March? When you retiring?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Taking some things off of your plate.
Things off my plate.
That's right. Cleaning off your plate. You'll have plenty of time to go to the mountains or wherever you want to go.
Anywhere I want to go. Yeah.
You'll be jet setting all around.
That's me. Jet setting.
That's you. That's your middle name.
Yes.
Mr. Jet Setter.
All right. The other news, we were talking about Kellen Moore being released from the Cowboys. So who do the Cowboys go after that would be a better fix? And the other side of it is, if you were an offensive coordinator, a prominent offensive coordinator that kind of pick where you want to go, would you sign up for a Dallas gig?
No.
Because I think Mike McCarthy's maybe on a really short leash.
No. The report I read is McCarthy's going to call the plays next year. He's going to have a hand in it. He's not going to just delegate it to somebody else. And I think the Kellen Moore probably landed in a better spot, right, with Justin Herbert.
Better
Diego.
quarterback.
Yeah, with the Chargers.
I agree. I agree. Something else I was going to ask about the games yesterday,
and all three went basically over Landon Dickerson off his left hip.
Yeah.
He pushed guys to the left, blocked him.
Motor
knocked him.
grader.
Yeah.
I agree.
They won that game yesterday at the line, like you said, at the line of scrimmage.
Stop. Now my daughter chimes in.
Could you what?
We were just talking about the Mountain House too at dinner on Friday. That's a very rough, touchy subject. And no, I could not work for Jerry Jones Milton. Milton asked that question. I think it takes
no matter the price tag?
It had to be enough where I didn't have to worry about ever working again to work for Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
I struggle working for people. I really do. I don't – I have too many opinions and views to work for people. Yeah. I don't – I can make a good employee. I just don't like to.
You're just a media mogul. You can't work for somebody when you're a media mogul.
Media mogul.
You are.
Stop. I can't talk intelligently about the Rumble other than I saw this woman that needed to be number 30 in the 30 women Rumble. I guess that was last night. The Royal Rumble was it last night?
I can't keep up.
Yeah. Right, Milton. I don't play well with others. That is correct.
Learned that in kindergarten, right? Or something.
And we talked a little bit about that at dinner on Friday night. I used to be a huge follower of wrestling. And it's the same reason that I can't watch Yellowstone. It's too scripted and too soap opera-ish.
Yeah, I agreed on Yellowstone.
I've heard that
this year.
1923, which is the prequel. 1823. The prequel to Yellowstone is better. I don't know. Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else is in it, but yeah. Now, that's just what I've heard.
And I don't have Paramount Plus, so I'll just wait for it until it comes on Paramount Network. But, yeah, I've only watched – I think I saw the one episode for 1823, and it was very good. But
I've tried Yellowstone a couple of times.
Yellowstone this season has been so far, and they're taking a break until the summer. They're going to have the second half of the season. But it's more of a soap opera now than it ever has been before.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. The Rumble was Saturday night. Big return for Cody Rhodes from a nasty injury to win, entering at number 30.
Okay.
Steven said local guy, Adam Shear, Braun Strowman from Bandy's was in the Royal Rumble.
Is that Rick Shear? Relation to
Crusher's
Rick Shear?
son.
Oh,
That's
okay, the
Crusher's
softball
son.
player.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And Wesley used to play paintball with him. Of course, I didn't understand.
With Crusher Shear or his son?
With Adam. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't understand why those two boys could play paintball. They needed to be what other people hid behind, not in – because he's a big youngin. Still comes to Butcher Boy's son.
Okay.
His mom and dad. Crusher was a man.
Yes, he was.
I mean, he was a man. Rhea Ripley won the Women's Rumble from the number 1 spot going over an hour. See, I don't even know any of these people anymore. I'm completely lost, kind of like golf. I struggle to watch the PGA because I just don't know any players anymore.
Just a handful of guys, and if they're not on the leaderboard, then you kind of flip them off and turn something on something else.
It's hard for me to stay with it. I watched a little of the Farmers over the weekend, and that just couldn't quite get into it.
So with the Panthers, what's the staff going to be like? Do you think who do they go after as an offensive coordinator? Because Vic Fangio was hired today by Miami, and he's not going to be the defensive coordinator, and he interviewed with the Panthers. So who do they go after? They go after guys that have connections with Seattle because that's where the general manager and the player personnel guy, Dan Morgan, they have connections with Seattle, and there's some coaches there with Seattle that may want to move up.
Steven says you got to want to go on the Pineapple Cup this year, Juju.
It's right during.
I know. You got to get retired.
I got a couple more years.
Okay.
I'd like to go a couple more years.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they do about talent. Do they give what's the kid's name from that got injured early that was from Mississippi State? Matt Corral?
Yeah, Matt Corral, Mississippi.
Do they give him a talk?
No, I think
opportunity.
Well, who does Frank Reich have a relationship with? It's a veteran quarterback that's a free agent out there that could serve, and he served this year as the placeholder for Mr. Watson up in Cleveland, Jacoby Brissett.
He's a little old, a little long in the tooth, though, isn't he?
I mean, if he's serviceable.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
He's serviceable until if you're gonna.
Is he more serviceable than what you have?
Than Sam Darnold?
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Richard, good to talk to you this weekend.
They're all free agents, so I don't know what they're going to have to sit down and find out.
Well, Corral's not.
No, Corral, but he's coming off an injury. You just can't hand the job to a rookie who's slight as well.
Do you hold on to P.J. Walker? Would you hold on to P.J. Walker over Sam Darnold, especially for the money.
Probably.
Are you losing anything?
I don't think there's that much difference between the two. They're going to be a backup quarterback no matter what, and I don't think. And maybe they sign one of them. Maybe they hold on to him as the placeholder. I just think somebody that's more of a veteran, like Jacoby Brissett, will run a different kind of. He knows the offense that Reich wants to install. I think he would be probably the veteran.
I'm not convinced of the college quarterbacks. Sorry. Or the big-name college quarterbacks.
I think the one that's got the perfect body is the kid from Kentucky. Now, he's a little bit of a head case you read about.
Chad said Richardson was bad in college.
Yeah, he had a bad year this year, but he's got the athletic talent. He's got the measurables, as they say.
Steven said, still disappointed that Wilkes didn't get the job. Seemed like a great leader of men. I agree, but does that make you the best candidate to be a head coach? David said, isn't Darnold still under contract? I thought they extended him.
I thought this year they extended him. I think he's a free agent. I'm almost positive he's a free agent. Yeah, you can.
I was thinking he had one more year.
Keep in mind about the Panthers, along with the Eagles. The Panthers and the Eagles had among the NFL's – Jimmy Johnson was a retread when they hired him at Miami.
Yeah.
What's his name? Shanahan was a retread. He got fired with the Raiders. Went to Denver, won 2 Super Bowls.
Okay. He will be an unrestricted free agent at the beginning of the 23 season, which will be March.
Yeah, March 15th.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the Panthers did a 2-year contract, and I think the third year is at the option of Darnold, not the Panthers. They paid him right at $19 million.
Yeah, and they paid Baker Mayfield about the same amount of money until they let him go to Los Angeles.
I don't know.
That's their biggest question. Their offensive line was improved. I don't know if they can win running the football like they did this year because they had a couple of guys pounding the ball, and I know they got rid of CMC and everything, but they're going to have to get a home run hitter in terms of a running back, but you can find a lot of those. They'll have to get another top receiver.
I heard today, I don't know if it was all 4 teams or just like 2 of the teams that was in one of the championship games. They had a total of less than $2.5 million in total money to all the running backs in that game between the 2 sides.
Wow.
I believe that's right, and I can't remember exactly the details, but it was nothing. I mean, just nothing.
It may have been the Eagles. They got a couple of rookies running back, and they had the Sanders kid out of Penn State as their starter.
Milton, wow. I agree. Wilkes was never given a chance in Arizona. I agree with that 100%. But here's the problem, and this is what surprised me about the guy that the Texans are signing. They're signing a defensive guy. I don't understand it because the rules are not skewed that way. Not skewed that way.
No, they're
at
not.
all.
No, they're not. But if you look at the regular season this year in the NFL, again, I'll go back to my stat nerd geek stuff. Scoring was down in the NFL this year. And defenses, they say, caught up a little bit. They're putting the better athletes on the defensive side of the football, especially on the line and at linebackers. And offensive linemen struggle. That's why you have so many tight ends playing. They're trying to meet and equal what you're seeing out behind the line and the linebackers. That's why you have 6'5", and sometimes the tight ends aren't particularly good blockers. That's another need of the Panthers. They need to find 1 or 2 really good playmaking tight ends and a second receiver behind DJ Moore. They need to find some weapons on offense, and if they had their offense set and needed to rebuild the defense, then I would guess Steve Wilkes would have got the job.
I think you're probably right. But they have nothing on offense.
No, they don't.
The defense is in pretty good shape.
They got a decent offensive line.
Steven said the Eagles are one of the youngest teams in the NFL. If they can structure contracts, then we might see them in the hunt for the next couple of years. Lions and Jaguars are right behind. Juju, someone asked me, and I just don't know for sure, this is Hobbs, Suckup was born in Hickory, yes? Who is claiming Dickerson? He from Hudson or is he from Hickory? Give us the background.
Okay. And I talked with, this was years ago, I talked with Ryan Suckup's mom. I went to church with them. She told me that they were from Pittsburgh. Now, I misconstrued that. I guess she moved to Hickory after her and her husband had Ryan, and they moved to Hickory. So he grew up in Hickory. He did not go to Hickory Public Schools until high school. I know he went to St. Stephen's Lutheran through 8th grade, I believe, and then went to Hickory High. So yes, if Dickerson, he becomes a second Hickory native to make it to the Super Bowl. Now, Dickerson grew up in Hickory. He grew up about a quarter of a mile where I lived at. So, yes, he went to Viewmont Elementary School. He ended up going to Grandview and then went to Hickory High for 3 years and transferred his senior year in the middle when
Chad said he came to South his junior year, but that was after the season or middle of the season.
Yeah, I thought it was his senior year. But anyway, he came in the middle of the season when Hickory got rid of its football coach, and Dickerson's dad moved him up to Hudson, South Caldwell. But he was born in Hickory right there off of Geithner Road. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me take one more break, and then we come back, and I'll give you the lineage of Bray Wyatt for everybody that wants to know. Back in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
We are back. And I'll give you my lineage in a minute. We had a few comments come in while we were away. Let's see.
And to fill in what Chris Hobbs said earlier, yes, I made a mistake. I boogered up, as they say.
Hobbs says, yes, after 2 years of JV at Hickory or one JV and one varsity. And David Lilly said, rich and star-studded lineage on Bray Wine. I'll get to that in just a few minutes.
All right.
Chad Mola said, Dickerson played half his junior and his senior year at South, came right after South beat Hickory that year. That's when his dad moved him in his junior year.
Yeah, there was an incident that happened after the game.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Steven said, I remember Maiden playing South at South and seeing him then the next year, seeing him play at Maiden when South played them. So it must have been at Hickory.
Yeah.
Bob said Dickerson's dad transferred him to South after the head coach of Hickory was asked to step down. 2 weeks later, midseason, he started for South. Ironically, the last team he played against as a Red Tornado.
Yeah.
There was a kid, and I don't know names, just what I've been told. I want to say during the Christmas tournament in basketball, during the Christmas tournament, played for 2 different high school teams this year because he transferred.
Okay. Why not?
In the middle of the tournament.
Middle of the tournament.
Yeah.
That is rare.
Now, I'm doing this from memory, okay? I'm doing this from memory. So the Bray Wyatt lineage, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
For those of you that want to know. Bray Wyatt, if I'm not mistaken, is the son of Mike Rotundo. Mike Rotundo wrestled as part of the varsity club with the Steiner brothers. The Steiners, they wrestled at Michigan. And if I'm not mistaken, Mike Rotundo wrestled at Syracuse. All those guys were outstanding All-American college wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Rotundo, who is Bray Wyatt's dad, married the sister of Kendall and Barry Windham. Okay? 3 children who are the children of the great Blackjack Mulligan.
Yep.
And that's the connection. That's the lineage that goes back. And
yeah.
I've told this story many times. I have big hands. I got the opportunity when I was in high school because I used to work the ring when wrestling would come to West Lincoln.
What does that mean, working the ring?
Carry the belts back to the dressing room.
Okay.
If anybody had a belt, carry the belt back to the dressing room.
You never got involved in an incident with somebody, tripping somebody or doing anything that was...
No, I did officiate a match one time, though.
Okay.
But no. And then the deputy that usually worked at the Lincoln County Deputy was friends of mine. He would take me back after the matches were over, and I would get to meet wrestlers. I met the Briscoes. I met Ricky Steamboat. I met Blackjack Mulligan. Nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. Huge man. Huge man. Bruises the size of baseballs on his arms, I guess from the ring buckles and stuff. But shook hands with him. My hand was lost. It disappeared.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. unbelievable, huge man. He was always one of my faves. I always liked Blackjack Mulligan.
And how old were you at the time?
I was in high school,
You were in high
junior or
school.
senior.
16, 17 years old.
Mm-hmm. Still mesmerized and amazed.
Yeah.
Loved it. And then as a coach, I got to officiate a match.
Gotcha. And when I grew up.
That's when it wasn't big time. That was when it just kind of.
Yeah, the Crockett's.
Rob Hoyle, you're exactly right, Milton. Milton even knew the deputy I was talking about. That's pretty good.
You remember wrestlers growing up, Bruno Sammartino?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were northern wrestlers. We didn't get to see them as much because
Yeah.
everything was regionalized back then. Mm-hmm.
Jumping Johnny DeFazio, Ivan Koloff.
Now, Ivan wrestled down here.
Yeah,
I met the Russian Bear.
George the Animal Steel.
I interviewed.
Did you really?
George the Animal Steel. He came to Charlotte as one of the celebrities that would come to the nights.
Yeah.
He came.
Hairiest man I've ever seen.
I interviewed him.
God.
I interviewed, and I do not know his real name, but the guy that played Danny on Caddyshack. The whoever that actor was, he came to Charlotte, and I interviewed him.
But he's not a wrestler. No, he was married to the singer, the red hair singer. Has a sultry voice, not country, jazz. What was her name? Oh, God.
Now back to the animal.
George the Animal Steel.
Interviewed him on the phone.
Okay.
And we talked about how he got started. He was from the Minnesota area. The football stadium where he was a high school coach is named after him. They renamed the stadium.
Really?
Yes.
And that's not his real name, George Animal Steel.
No, and I'll look that up because now you got me thinking about it.
But who sang the song? We got something to talk about. I'll give you something that I can't sing to talk about unless there's water flowing on my head.
I got nothing.
She's got red hair. I want to say
That was married to who?
The Danny from Caddyshack.
Something O'Keefe is his name.
Yeah.
I'll look that
married
up.
to whatever her name is.
Now you got me down
Give me
that
something to
rabbit
talk
hole.
about.
I can see her, but Danny from Caddyshack.
O'Keefe.
It's something O'Keefe. Michael O'Keefe. Danny Noonan.
Married to.
At one time, he was married to Bonnie Raitt.
That's who it is.
I did not know that.
Yes, I knew that. I just couldn't remember the name.
That. Wow, I did not know that. Now I've learned something. George the Animal Steel.
Hubba. Bonnie Raitt.
William James Myers. That is his real name.
No wonder he changed it.
William James Myers. He was a teacher, and he was a coach. He was at Madison Heights, Michigan. He was born in Detroit. He coached track, baseball, basketball, and football. Went to Michigan State as a football player, cut short from a knee injury. He also played with the Grand Rapids Blazers of the UFL in 1961. He has a master's degree from Central Michigan.
Unbelievable.
He became a teacher, amateur wrestling coach, and football coach at Madison High School in Madison Heights, Michigan, eventually a member of the Michigan Coaches Hall of Fame.
Did not know that.
Yes. Oh, it goes on. You had the green tongue and the whole 9 yards. Okay. Well, when it started getting to where it was out on TV, he talked about they started football practice one year, and when they lined up for calisthenics, and he turned and looked at them, they all stuck their tongue out, and it was green, and he said, I knew the cat was out of the bag after that happened.
That's pretty good.
But yes, he was nothing like, you remember he chased Miss Elizabeth?
Yeah.
That was the one he was after. But yeah, 6'1", 275, but he is actually in the Michigan Coaches Hall of Fame. And the high school, Madison High School Stadium, is named
after him.
William James Myers Stadium.
Well, George the Animal Steel and Bruno Sammartino were the two most popular wrestlers I remember growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruno was from Pittsburgh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But a great
He was the Ric Flair of up north.
Yes. He was a totally different guy. You know, he He acted like he couldn't communicate
as
a wrestler.
Yeah, his
you know.
shtick. Yeah.
Mhm. But everybody loved him. Thank you, honey. Lindsay and Milton and my wife were saying Bonnie Raitt. I didn't know that.
I just couldn't think of her name. I could see her face and I can hear the song.
There also was a great Ric Flair documentary. It's on Peacock. Got to have a thing, but it is a great documentary on Flair. It's about 2 hours.
I need to pick up that because I've heard that they are doing more and more documentaries. I mean, it's content and a way to get more programming and doing documentaries and docudramas and all that.
One of my favorites, it's on Access TV, AXS. Dan Rather does these interviews with rock bands and musicians and stuff. Oh, they're great. He's done Styx. He's done all of these great groups and stuff. He does a great job with that.
He stepped out of his comfort zone from politics and doing that.
But does a great job with that. Yeah. I'm still Bonnie Raitt. Michael O'Keefe and Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah. I don't know how long they were married, but I know they were married at one time.
They were married from 91 till 99, 8 years.
8 years.
Now, the other one that I had an opportunity to interview, and he actually came to the studio, was Tito Sammartino.
Was that Bruno's son?
No.
Different?
Was it Tito Santana? Is it what was the name? Somebody help me, wrestling fans.
Tito
Santana.
Okay, not San Martino.
Right. No, I think it was Tito Santana.
Okay.
I actually have a picture of him on Facebook when I was at Tito Santana. And
he was Latin. Bruno was Italian.
Yes. But he was billed as being from Toluca, Mexico. His real name was Mercedes Solis, and he was also a middle school teacher.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I miss my calling.
And let me tell you, he played when he was in college, where he played. His quarterback was a future wrestler that wrestled in Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
West Texas State.
Yeah.
Tully Blanchard.
Yeah.
Tully Blanchard was his quarterback.
That.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I did not know that.
There's another wrestler that played in the NFL that was a quarterback, I believe. Was he a quarterback? What about, what was his name? The guy that did the Slim Jim commercials all the time.
Randy Savage.
Yeah, wasn't he a quarterback?
He was a baseball player.
Baseball, that's what it was.
He could have went to the pros in baseball.
I think he did. I think he was in spring training or something
think you're
like
right.
that.
Santana, thank you, Dave Lilly. Dave Lilly's a wrestling fan. Here we go.
We're getting all these closet wrestling fans.
Yeah, I'm not a closet one. I'll tell you right quick. I'll tell you right quick. I love it. The old school. I love the old school. And there were other football players. Manny Fernandez.
Yeah.
The Raging Bull. He used to
Miami
live.
Dolphins.
He used to live in Shelby in the same neighborhood as a guy I taught with at Cleveland Community College when I first started teaching back in the mid-'80s.
Manny Fernandez lived in Shelby?
He wrestled out of Charlotte for Crockett.
I didn't know that.
Sure did. Juju, Bob says you're a secret catfish noodler.
I am. I'm learning and learning. In fact, my secret source, one of my students, told me about another incident that she went catfish hunting over the weekend. Today, in fact, noodling.
Lydia said, I think Peacock has Behind the Ring or Dark Side of the Ring. Those used to be, sis, on Vice.
Yeah.
Because
ask Bob, what's the name of that? I'm going to write it down because if I don't, I'll forget. The name of the girl that has her own show, the really good-looking model type that has her own show about noodling.
Okay, Bob, we'll have to come up with that one. Milton says there's a quarterback that became a top fuel drag racer. I wasn't aware of that. And if I'm not mistaken, Tully Blanchard's daddy was the coach at West Texas State.
No kidding.
I think that's right. Kim said, my wife says that one of the Mandrell sisters, you remember the Mandrell sisters?
Barbara Mandrell.
And Louise, and I can't remember the blonde, one of their daughters is on The Bachelor this season. Well, let me go ahead and tell you, folks, I will not be seeing that because I do not watch The Bachelor.
It's on Monday nights. I know that.
That doesn't matter. I still don't watch The
Monday
Bachelor.
Night Football's over with. You'll have a chance to watch it now.
Don't care. Don't care.
You could be a better husband.
Don't care.
You can.
You understand? I don't care. I do not watch The Bachelor. I don't watch Sister Wives. I don't watch Little People because they scare me. My wife watches all that mess.
Before we go, next week, Brandon Johnson.
Yes.
We'd hope to have him on tonight, and I'm sure his mom's probably waiting. Going to have him on next week. I talked with Brandon just a few moments before we went on the air. We're going to have him on next week, 6:45, to talk about his career. Plays for Duke. Grew up in Newton Conover. Played for the Red Devils. Signed with Duke. He's a starting defensive back. I think he made all ACC this year. Anyway, we'll have all his story next week. Have him on as we dedicate another football show next Monday night.
And
but you need to
I was wrong.
Camp up to the mountains.
I was wrong.
You can watch The Bachelorette or Bachelor up there.
Tully Blanchard's dad was a wrestler, but he did play professional football with the Edmonton Eskimos.
Okay.
And in 1952, he actually played in the Grey Cup, and they lost to the Argonauts 21-11.
Toronto Argonauts.
Now, some of his teammates from Canadian football that became wrestlers, Wilbur Snyder, which I don't know, and Gene Kaninsky. Now, that name sounds familiar.
Is that Gene the Dancing Machine?
No, that's not Gene the Dancing
How about
Machine.
what was the other Gene that was the interviewer?
Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah, wasn't him.
Wasn't him. No.
One Gene Tunney.
Wasn't Gene Tunney. No. Sorry. All right. That's it. That's enough for tonight. Have a great evening. As far as I know, Mr. Rembert will be back tomorrow, so we should be back on the air in the morning. Have a great night. We'll see you then. I got to sleep fast.